Okay, dating a woman that can't control her mouth when she's angry is the same as dating a man that can't control his hands while angry. It's just a different form of abuse. You must be out of your damn mind. Now, I thought that people in the comments would immediately, see this and be like, oh, that's crazy. But the amount of people that agreed and said true was alarming. The first pain that I remember in my whole life was observing and watching my mother occasionally get her ass whooped by him. I would scream. Let's not do that. Let's just say that before the 3rd grade, I lived in multiple shelters with her and my siblings and became well aware of the abuse that happens to women of all colors. It is extremely dangerous to equate the strike of a man's hand to a woman's mouth. You must be out of your damn mind. A man who can't control his hands is the same as a woman who can't control her mouth. It's that word, same. I know there are different forms of abuse. I agree with a lot of stuff. The same? Do you know how dangerous a man is that can't control his hands? He'll beat the hell out of you when you're pregnant. He'll kill your baby. I know what I'm talking about. Now, let's be clear. A woman's tongue could be lethal. This is true. But technically, dating a woman who is verbally abusive is the same as dating a man who is verbally abusive. Did you forget that we have a mouth? And usually when there is physical abuse, it's paired with the verbal abuse. I lived on a street in grade school called Figueroa for a few years. We nicknamed it Figure Horror because this is where the hoe stroll was. There is nothing like observing a pimp train a hoe, like to really break her. Psychologically breaking a woman down so bad that verbal abuse can create a prison in a person's mind that really operates how they move and what they do physically. And the difference between a man being able to verbally abuse is you can always reinforce it with the physical abuse. That's the advantage that we have. Now, let's be clear. There is a conversation to be had with some women about how they can't control their mouth. But this is not the way to approach it. This is a subtle suggestion with a very brutal repercussion. Since you said a person who has an uncontrollable mouth and a person who has uncontrollable hands, do you know what you were talking about? I understand that a lot of men are disturbed and you're going through a lot when it comes to dealing with women, but the way we're approaching these conversations, man, is not it.
I love the point that the brother Nigga made, but I believe that physical abuse, no matter who it's from, physical abuse and verbal abuse are equivalent. And it don't matter who they're from. I'm not going to say that a woman's mouth is equal to a man's physical abuse. No, I'm not going to say that per se, but in regards to damage, the damage that either can cause, whether it be her mouth, his mouth, or whether it be her physical abuse or his physical abuse. Wow. Both people can kill, both people can cause some severe damage with physical abuse, and both people can definitely cause some psychological and emotional damage with verbal abuse. So I think that one of the craftiest tricks that Satan put on the world was when he instituted in our elementary this song or quote or hymn to say that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. When we have all discovered and grown to know that that's a bald-faced lie. Some of us are still healing and trying to get over some of the counterproductive and unhealthy programs that have been instituted into our subconscious mind by way of mouth. And whether it be from family, loved ones, enemies, or whoever, So when you think about damage, you're thinking about trauma. You're thinking about all the lives that it affects. You think about how long it affects an individual. You also consider the fact that physical abuse, physical damage, and verbal abuse, verbal damage can both alter a person's life, alter the way an individual would deal with people, alter the way that individual make it and gets through life. You know what I'm saying? So to say that one is worse than the other, I don't think that we can say that. Because even when you think about death, right? Yeah, physical abuse can lead to death. Well, so can verbal abuse. Verbal abuse can cause someone to be so low in spirit to where they commit suicide. So they both can have death as a ramification. And I was even thinking about this aspect, and it's that death is even better than torture, whether it be verbal torture, whether it be physical torture, but especially physical torture, right? Death could even be better than that depending on the level of the physical torture, right? And you got people who wish death who have been psychologically tortured over a certain amount of time, which again, that leads to suicide or them trying to kill the person that has verbally abused them for so long, X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So again, my view on that whole topic is that I don't think that neither is worse than the other, whether it be exhibited from a man or a woman. So therefore, I mean, I would go as far as to say that they're more equal than not. You know, the damage that they cause are more equivalent than not.